Hi, in this video I am going to talk about the process of land degradation. Land degradation has devastating impact on human beings and as well as on the environment. It can be caused by natural or the anthropogenic activities. The process of land degradation can be affected by soil erosion, soil salination, water logging, and a decline in soil fertility. And all these factors are very much interrelated. So, affecting one factor will also cause the other factors to come into the play. For example, soil erosion. Soil erosion can cause a decline in soil fertility, and it can also cause soil salination. So all these factors are very much interrelated, and I am going to talk about each of these factors in detail. Soil erosion. Soil erosion is the one of the most significant threat to the global soil health, and it is also a threat to the ecosystem. Soil erosion is basically the displacement of upper layer of soil. As we know that the upper layer of soil is very much important for plant growth and for as well as for the ecosystem. So the loss of or the displacement of this upper soil is very concerning to the biodiversity conservation as well as for the food safety. So the erosion removes the upper fertile layer of soil, and it causes soil clustering, soil compaction, poor soil structure, low organic matter, and poor drainage and runoff. Uh, Basically, the soil erosion is a natural process, but it is accelerated by the anthropogenic activities. And there are two different categories of this soil agents of soil erosion, which are water and wind. In water erosion, this water erosion can be due to the rainwater or the running water generated from the rain, and it is influenced by rainfall, soil type, slope, and soil use or vegetation cover. Second is wind erosion. Wind erosion by the heavy wind, it transport very fine particles and lower the soil fertility. Rate and magnitude of soil erosion by wind is based on the characteristics of the soil and the vegetation cover and the climate. So these are the two major causes or major classes of soil erosion: water erosion and wind erosion. And what caused the soil erosion? The main cause of soil erosion is the exposure of the soil to wind or water. So when the soil is exposed, the bare soil is exposed to wind and or water, running water, it leads to the soil erosion. And so many factors affecting the level of soil erosion. One factor is the soil structure. If soil is poorly structured or not developed well, the chances of erosion is high, and some types of soils are very much prone to the erosion than the other type of soil because of the difference in the soil structure. Vegetative cover, if the soil is having a vegetative cover, maybe trees or plants or even the grass, which can actually hold the soil together and prevent erosion. If the soil is do not having any vegetative cover, no plants at all, it is very much prone to the soil erosion. Land topology, if the land is slope, if sloping land has a higher tendency of erosion by the running water. Then disturbances like the construction of buildings or roads, which increase the soil erosion, or the unscientific agricultural practices or not well managed irrigation can also cause soil erosion. What are the effects of soil erosion? So in the erosion, the topsoil is displaced, and one of the main effect will be decrease in the fertility of the soil. So the effects including reduction in the surface soil depth. So as the topsoil is lost, the surface soil depth will be less. uh, the productivity of the terrestrial ecosystem is significantly reduced. The overall ecosystem will be reduced because of the soil erosion. It decreases the water infiltration and the water holding capacity, which is a characteristics of the topsoil. Plant nutrients and organic matter will be decreased because it is displaced. Natural biota and biodiversity will be adversely affected, and degradation of ecosystem and affect crop yield. How to prevent soil erosion? So the major what we can do to prevent soil erosion is that not leaving the land open for wind or water. If the land is open, there is chances of soil erosion is high. So keep it closed. Keep it not exposed. So that's how we can actually prevent the soil erosion. So for that, what we can do, we can cover the surface layer of soil with some sort of coverage, which include mulching, vegetation, matting, retaining the walls, or reforestation. Anything which cover the surface of soil will be fine. And or we can plant the trees to have an uh, like extensive root system which will hold the soil together, or establish windbreaks to prevent the wind, like uh, wind erosion, or planting trees and structures which actually like hinder the wind, or sustainable agriculture practices will always help to increase the uh, to prevent the soil erosion. Next is soil salination. In soil salinization, degradation occurs due to the high concentration of soluble salt, exchangeable sodium, or both. So it can be due to the accumulation of salt or exchangeable sodium, or both. Okay. Uh, it happens when the supply of salt exceeds its removal by plant uptake, leaching, or flooding. If the supply is high and removal is low, the salt will be accumulated in the soil. And accumulation of soil is having adverse effect on the soil health, because it affects the osmotic pressure of water, and a change in osmotic pressure of water will actually cause like irregularities or the disturbances in the water uptake by the plants. Next, it causes nutritional imbalance. All the ionic stage of the nutrients will change, so that complicate the nutritional uptake, or the nutrient uptake by the plants, and it also disturb the soil structure. Okay. uh, and it also affects shallow water and groundwater quality. There are different types of salt affected soils. One is saline soils. Saline soils is having high amount of soluble salt. Then saline sodic soil, the saline sodic soils having high amount of salt as well as high amount of exchangeable sodium. In sodic soils, it is having high concentration of exchangeable sodium, but the salinity is soluble salts is less. This origin of salt in the soil can be different. It may be due to the weathering of soils and minerals, or improper irrigation system, inadequate water management, or unsuitable drainage system, or fossil salt released naturally or due to the anthropogenic activities. Then soils near the coastal area used to have high amount of salt, or chemical fertilizers or the base materials also have this salt. So from this different sources, this salt can end up in the come into the soil. Then causes of salinity is divided into two: primary salinity and secondary salinity. Primary salinity is the natural salinity, and secondary salinity is the anthropogenically induced salinity. Okay, and there are different causes for this anthropogenically induced salinity, like uh, disruption in the hydrological cycle, or deforestation, overgazing, accumulation of airborne or waterborne salt from the industry, or contamination with the chemicals. Then how to reclamation of this salt affected soil is done. First one is increasing the cultivated area. Okay, if the area is open, the chances of getting salination is high. So cultivated areas used to have lower amount of salinity. So in order to reclamation, so many factors affecting uh, or contributing to the type of sustainable desalination can be done, which includes internal soil drainage, and climatic conditions and type of salt, then quality and quantity of available water, depth of groundwater, or topographical features of land. Based on these all factors, we need to devise methods for the desalination of the affected soils. So for that, we can use physical methods. The physical methods, actually, we are not adding any chemicals into it. We are actually making some structural changes in soil to get rid of this salinity. And methods including subsoiling, sanding, horizon mixing, profile invention, and changing the irrigation pattern. If the salinity is caused by any of these reasons, we can actually redo it to get it right. The chemical methods, including amendment to lowering the pH of soil, or reactive with the soluble carbonates to clear off the salt, or replacing the exchangeable sodium with the calcium. Calcium is actually less dangerous than sodium, so it's good. Or application of chemicals like gypsum, sulfur, sulfuric acid, etc., can actually helps to reduce the salinity. Or we have other methods like organic matter. If we adding more and more organic matter into the soil, it is the actually inhibiting or masking the salinity of the soil, and the soil become more fertile. Or biological methods like including the planting the plants which is actually more tolerant to the salt, so it will grow there and it will actually improve the soil while it grow. Then there is methods called electro reclamation. It's actually a electrodialysis method to remove salt from the soil. So thank you.